Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video of Playwright with TypeScript series, I will talk about Playwright command line interface, or you can also call it CLI. And before proceeding further, I would like to inform you that you can now support my YouTube channel, and for that you can go to my channel Wish Infinite and click onto the join button and select the desired option to become a member. You can unlock exclusive perks while helping the channel grow. Your support means a lot. Also, I have created YouTube Shorts playlist for Playwright. You can watch this playlist to refresh your Playwright concepts. I will provide link of the playlist into the description, or you can go to my channel Wish Infinite and under the playlists tab you can access this Learn Playwright in 60 Seconds Shorts playlist. Also, you can click onto the community tab where you will be able to see this Playwright quiz. You can search in the browser with the keyword Playwright with TypeScript like this to see all the questions. You can answer these questions, which will help you to prepare for interview also. I have also uploaded latest code of this series onto GitHub. You can visit my GitHub profile where you would be able to see this Playwright tutorials TypeScript JavaScript repository. I will provide link of my GitHub profile and of this repository into the description. Now let's continue with our current topic. So first question is that what is Playwright CLI or command line interface? So Playwright CLI is a powerful command line tool provided by Playwright framework to facilitate various tasks related to test automation. It serves as interface to create, debug and manage Playwright projects efficiently. And now let's see different Playwright commands which can be used to perform different tasks. And you would find some of these commands familiar to you as we have already used those commands in different videos of this particular Playwright playlist. Now let's see the first command, which is to install the Playwright. And for that we need to use the command which is npm init playwright @latest. And for that let me open VS Code, and here let's open one new blank folder. So for that click onto the file, open folder, and here let me create one new folder with the name Playwright CLI practice. And let's select this folder. So now we have this blank folder. Now open the terminal. For that click onto this terminal and new terminal, and here it has opened the PowerShell terminal for me. But if we want to change the terminal, so we can click onto this down arrow, and from here we can select any of the terminal of our choice. It can be PowerShell terminal, or the command prompt CMD terminal, or the bash terminal. For now I'm using this PowerShell terminal only, but it's totally up to you. Previously also I have talked about this terminal thing into my playlist. Now let's install the Playwright, and for that we need to give the command which is npm init playwright @latest. So npm init playwright @latest. And here this npm stands for Node Package Manager, which we provide to install, update and manage dependencies. This init is for installation of this Playwright package, and here we are specifying @latest to install the latest Playwright version. In some of the commands we would also be seeing this npx. I will tell you while using that npx. For now we need to give this npm init playwright @latest. So don't get confused between npm and npx. Exact same command you need to give. Now hit enter. It will ask some of the questions, like here we need to provide the language which we want to use. For now I'm selecting TypeScript, but you can use up and down arrow to select the different option. Hit enter. Here we can select that where we want to put our end-to-end tests. The default folder is tests. I'm keeping it tests only, hitting enter. From here, we can select that if we want to add GitHub Actions workflow. For now, I'm keeping it as the false and hitting enter. Now here it is asking us to install Playwright browsers. If you keep it as true, then it will automatically install Playwright browsers also with the installation of the Playwright. We can do the same thing manually also with the command which is npx playwright install. For now, I am selecting false here to deny the automatic Playwright browser installation, and we will follow the manual process to install it later, but it's totally up to you if you want to install it in the one go while installing the Playwright. So for now, here I'm selecting N to mark it as the false, and now it will proceed further. And once the installation is done, we would be able to see this happy hacking message. And about different ways of Playwright installation, I have already talked into one of my video of this Playwright tutorials playlist. If you have not watched that video, I will provide link of that video into the description. Also, I will add the link here so that it would be easy for you to go to the specific video if you want to get in-depth knowledge related to the specific topic. Now let's go to the next command, which is for the Playwright browser installation. So as we just talked that here I have marked this install Playwright browsers option as false. So now I will follow the manual process to install the Playwright browsers, and for that we need to give the command which is npx playwright install. So go to your terminal and provide npx playwright install. And here, as I told you that we would also be using this npx to provide some commands. And what does this npx stands for? So npx is a package runner to execute Node.js packages without installing them globally. So the key difference between npm and npx is that we use npm, which is Node Package Manager, to install and manage dependencies, and we use npx to run one-time commands. So here we are going to use this npx playwright install. So don't get confused between npm and npx. Previously we used npm to install the Playwright, and for the browser installation we are using npx. So npx playwright install, hit enter, and it will simply install all the Playwright browsers. And it's totally up to you if you want to install the browsers in the single go by selecting true here. And this is how we can install Playwright as well as Playwright browsers using the command line interface. Now let's see the next command which we need to use if we want to update our Playwright. And the command would be npm install space -d space @playwright /test @latest. So let's use this command. So into the terminal, provide the command which is npm install -d @playwright test @latest. Before hitting enter, let me just change the version to something else so that you would be able to see that it changes the version to the latest one. Just for your knowledge purpose, I am showing it to you so that you would be able to see the difference. You need not to change it, but whenever you want to update your Playwright version for your project, you just simply need to give this particular command. Now I am hitting enter into the terminal, and see the version of the Playwright got changed here because of this particular command. Because whenever you provide this command, it will update the Playwright version. Now let's go to the next command which we can use to run all the Playwright tests. And before providing this particular command, let me open one separate project where I have already created some of the test script files with different tests. So again, going to file, open folder, and I am selecting this Playwright with TypeScript concepts project folder, which is our main folder. And here I have kept all the TypeScript files which we have created for this particular playlist. You would be able to see all the TypeScript files inside the archive folder, and the same structure you would be able to see onto the GitHub repository. And here I have created two TypeScript files inside the tests folder, which is our default folder for end-to-end tests. As while installation also we have selected this only, right? If you remember. And inside these TypeScript files, I have imported test and expect from Playwright test package, and I have created tests where I have provided the title as Playwright CLI practice test 1, 2 and 3, and the second argument is the anonymous function where I have passed this page fixture, and then inside the anonymous function I am just opening this google.com link and verifying the title should be Google, and at the starting and at the end I am just console logging these texts, which is starting practice test and ending practice test. For each test I have done the same process for this particular TypeScript file, and inside the second TypeScript file also I have done the same thing, where in each test I am providing console log at the starting and at the ending, and in between I am just opening google.com and verifying the title should be Google. Now let's execute these tests. So we have 6 tests which are there into these 2 files inside the tests folder. Let me open the terminal. So click onto the terminal, new terminal, and here we will provide our command. So to start execution for all the tests, we need to provide the command which is npx playwright test. So here let's give this npx playwright test. If you want to copy paste these commands, that is also fine. You can copy these commands from this document. I will also provide link of this document into the description, so you can directly copy and paste it. So you can keep this particular list handy with you like your cheat sheet. So now hit enter after giving this npx playwright test. And once you hit enter, the execution of all our 6 tests will get started. Currently, the execution is happening only onto the Chromium browser because I have only kept this Chromium project into my playwright.config.ts file. See here, under the projects, I have just given this Chromium project, and other projects I have commented up. If you want, you can provide multiple projects under the projects key. So under the terminal, you would be able to see complete execution process where this console logging is done for each test, as we have provided console logs also, and all the tests got passed. So this 6 passed is appearing. And now let's go to the next command, which is to run the specific test. And for that, we need to give the command, which is npx playwright test. This is the basic command, right? And after that, we need to provide specific test script file, which we want to execute. So let's execute this first test script file only. So when we gave this npx playwright test, it executed all the tests which were there inside all the files of this tests folder. But now we are going to specify the exact test script file which we want to execute. So providing the command, which is npx playwright test. And now as I want to execute this first test script file, so for that first I will provide name of the folder. So the parent folder is tests. So the same name I have provided here. If you want to execute the test script file from different folder, you will have to provide that folder name here. Then /, and here we need to provide the exact name of the test script file, which is this Playwright CLI practice 1. So I have copy pasted the name here, and now let me hit enter. And you would be able to see only 3 tests are getting executed, which were there inside this first test script file. So the command is simple. First part is npx playwright test, which we use to install all the playwright tests. And then we need to provide the parent folder name / the test script file which we want to execute. You can also remove this parent folder name if your file name is unique. Otherwise, if Playwright finds two files with the same name into different folders, it will execute both the files. Just to avoid confusion, I am telling it to you. So for now, I am removing this tests folder, and this file name is unique for me. So only this file will get executed. But for an example, inside this tests also, there are separate folder which are there for you. And in 3 folders, the same file name is there. So it will execute all the files. In that case, you can provide the specific folder name also to execute the specific test script file only. Now I'm hitting the enter, and the same thing would be happening because my file name is unique only. So all the 3 tests of this test script file will get executed. And similarly, you can also provide just the partial string and it will execute all the matching test script files. Let me give you one example. So npx playwright test, and here let me give this CLI only. So capital CLI, and here you would be able to see there are 2 test script files with the string CLI in their name. So these 2 files will get executed. Let me put one more test here just to show you that only 2 files will get executed. Now hit enter and see 6 tests are getting executed, which are from these 2 files where CLI is available in their name. Tests from this particular file will not get executed because it is not able to find any matching with the CLI in the file name. See, our practice test 1 and 2 test script file got executed. And accordingly, you can play with these commands. I've just shown you few examples for running the specific test script file. Now let's move to the next command, which is to run Playwright tests on the specific browser. And for that, we need to provide the command, which is npx playwright test. And here we need to provide the flag, which is -- project equals to the project for which we want to do the execution. And here this project means the browser on which you want to do the execution. So if you will go to your playwright.config.ts file, here as I told, I have just kept this Chromium browser enabled, but let me enable this WebKit and Firefox browser also, so that we would be able to pick a specific browser for the execution. So removing these comments, and now I have enabled Chromium, Firefox and the WebKit project, right? So value of this projects is the array, and inside each array we have mentioned different projects, which are Chromium, Firefox and the WebKit. Till now our execution was only happening onto the Chromium because we have kept that project only. So now let's provide the command npx playwright test, and here we need to provide the flag, which is project, and for that we need to provide hyphen and then project equals to, and here we can mention any of the project name. So name is this key and its value we need to provide. So as per your requirement, you can provide any of the project which you want to execute, right? There may be the case that there are some more different projects which are available, so you can provide any of the value here for which you want to do the execution. For now, I will provide this Firefox as the project name. And do remember that you need to provide this value only. If Chromium 1 is written here for the Chrome browser, so you will have to provide Chromium 1 in that case, right? For now, I want to do the execution onto Firefox, so providing that here. So like this, you can hit enter now, and execution will get started onto the Firefox. See, the 8 tests are getting executed because we have 6 tests inside these 2 files. We have moved this example test script file also, so that's why it started the execution on that. And now our execution is completed, and here under the terminal also you would be able to see the execution happened only onto the Firefox browser. Let me move this test script file back to the old folder, and like this, through the command line you can provide any of the browser on which you want to do the execution, and the same project should be configured here into playwright.config.ts file. About this playwright.config.ts file, I have discussed in details into the video. If you have not watched that video, I would highly recommend you to watch that particular video. I will provide link of that video into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access that particular video. Now let's go to the next command, which is to run the tests in the headed mode. So just now when I did the execution, you must have seen the browser. Why so? Because I have kept this headless as false into our playwright.config.ts file. By default, usually this option itself would not be there into playwright.config.ts file, which means by default your tests will get executed into the headless mode only. And if you want to change that nature, so in that case you will have to provide headless false, which means we don't want to execute into the headless mode. You can also mark it as the true if you want to execute into the headless mode, which means you don't want to show the browser. Although you need not to mark it as the true because that is by default configured. Let me remove this part. So for now, default configuration is there where if we execute the script, it will get executed into the headless mode and we would not be able to see the browser. Let me execute all the test scripts using npx playwright test just to show you, as we have not configured that headless inside our playwright.config.ts file, we would not be able to see the browser. See, execution is happening, but we are not able to see the browser because we have removed this configuration from our playwright.config.ts file, and by default it is executing tests into the headless mode. And if you have noticed, our tests are getting executed on all the three browsers because I have not provided that -- project equals to the specified project name. And here we have enabled all these three browser configuration. So it is getting executed onto the Chromium and Firefox and the WebKit. Now, as the default execution happened onto the headless mode, but now I want to do the execution into the headed mode, which means I want to see the browser while doing the execution. So there are two ways, right? One is that you can directly provide that headless equals to false inside playwright.config.ts file, where under this define config, we have one parameter which is object, and inside that object there is use key where we can provide headless as the key and its value as the false. And every time once you do the execution, it will happen into the headed mode because we have marked this headless as the false and we would be able to see the browser. But let's say I'm not keeping this configuration, and by default again it will execute your tests into the headless mode. But while starting execution, I want to provide it through the CLI, right? So for that we have the command which is npx playwright test -- headed. So let's provide this particular command. So npx playwright test, this is our basic command to execute all the test script files, and then -- headed, which means we want to see the browser, right? And hit enter. And once you hit enter, you would be able to see that execution started and we are able to see the browser and whatever the execution which is happening onto the browser. So this is non-headless mode. So it's only the term, right? Headed means we want to see the browser and headless means we don't want to see the execution. Usually onto the continuous integration like Jenkins, Azure DevOps, GitHub Actions, or any continuous integration like Circle CI, we keep headless true only so that we would not be able to see the browser, right? And here I have given the command as npx playwright test -- added. But we can also combine these flags. Let's say I want to execute my tests into the headed mode, but only onto the specific browser. So that also we can do. And for that, what we will have to do, npx playwright test, this is our basic command to execute all the tests. Then here we can provide different flags, right? First, let's say you want to do the headed mode. So for that, provide -- headed here. And again, the second flag would be -- project equals to and the browser on which you want to do the execution. So now this time let's execute it onto the WebKit only. So providing this -- project equals to WebKit, which will start the execution of all the tests into the headed mode onto the WebKit. And like this, you can combine different flags also. Let's say you want to execute only the specific test script file. So after npx playwright test, you can provide the test script file name also, and then hyphen headed project equals to webkit. That also you can do, right? So you can try these different combination at your end. Just for your information purpose, I am showing it to you that we can combine different options here. Now hit enter and we would be able to see the execution of all our 6 tests, right? Which are there into these 2 test script file. Into the headed mode, we are able to see the browser, and only onto the WebKit browser the execution is happening, because the same thing we have mentioned through our command line interface by providing this command. Now coming on to the next command, which is to enable Playwright reporter. So with a Playwright, we can generate different type of reporters. It can be JSON, JUnit, dot, list, line, HTML, and so on. And we can generate all these reporters either by mentioning them into our configuration file, where under this define config parameter object, we have this reporter key, and here we can mention all the reporters which we want to configure for our Playwright execution. And the second way is that we can do the same by using the CLI command. So if we provide CLI command, so irrespective of this configuration, it will generate the specific reporter. So let me comment out this portion, so that for now it will not generate any of the reporter using this configuration file, but with the help of CLI command, we would be able to generate the report. Let me open this new terminal, and now here we need to provide the command, which is npx playwright test hyphen reporter equals to the reporter name which we want to generate. So for now I would be generating HTML reporter, but you can mention any value like list, line, JSON, JUnit, blob here, and it will generate that particular report. I have already talked about all these reporters into one of my video. If you have not watched this video, I will provide link of this video into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access that particular video. So let's provide this particular command, which is npx playwright test hyphen reporter equals to HTML. And here accordingly you can change the value as per your requirement. And now hit enter, which will start execution for all 6 tests which are there into these 2 files. And here it is executing the tests onto all 3 browsers which are configured here inside the configuration file. And now execution got completed and our report got generated inside this folder, which is playwright-reporter. Here we would be able to see our HTML reporter. See, this index.html file also got generated with all the supporting files. And now we can open our reporter. And for that we have one more CLI command, which is this npx playwright show-reporter. So let's give this particular command, and once your HTML report is generated, you would also be able to see the same command into your terminal. So either you can copy it or you can type it manually. And now after providing this npx playwright show-report, hit enter, and you would be able to see your HTML report will get opened into the browser. And about the HTML reporter also I have talked into this particular video. I will provide link of this video into the description if you want to get in-depth knowledge about HTML report with Playwright. Let me close this particular report. And now coming on to the next command, which is to run test with the specific tag. So what are tags? About it we have already discussed, and we can provide tags to the different tests. If you are not much familiar with the tags in Playwright, I would recommend you to watch these 2 videos. I will provide link of these 2 videos into the description. And here into our test script files, if you will see, I have provided one tag for this practice test 5. So here I have provided this @UAT tag, and accordingly you can provide any of the tag for any of your test. And there is the scenario that I want to execute the test with the specific tag only. So in that case, we can use our command, which is npx playwright test --grep equals to @tag name. So here you can provide any of the tag name. So for now, I have tagged only one test here, but into real-time projects, you would be tagging your tests as per your requirement. Let's say if you want to execute some tests onto the UAT environment, you can tag them as the UAT. You can also tag the tests like UI, API as per your requirement. And any tag name you can provide. There is no such specific rule. So let's provide this command which will execute only this practice test 5, which is having the UAT tag. Let me press Ctrl C, which will terminate this localhost which is serving the HTML report. And now let's provide the command which is npx playwright test -- grep is the flag or the key which you need to provide equals to the tag name. So in our case, the tag name is @UAT. So @UAT. And now hit enter and you will see only one test will get executed, right? Here we are able to see 3 tests because our one test is getting executed onto all 3 browsers, which is this practice test 5. See, onto the Chromium, Firefox and WebKit, only one test got executed. And similarly, we can do the reverse also. So there is a scenario where I don't want to execute these tests which are having the UAT tag. So for now, there is only one test, but in real-time project, there can be multiple tests which are having the UAT tag which I don't want to execute. And for that, we have this command which is npx playwright test, right? This is basic command. And after that, we need to provide this flag which is --grep -invert equals to @tag name. So let's give this particular command and let me comment out these 2 projects so that our execution would be happening only onto the Chromium browser for now to save the execution time. And here let's provide this command which is npx playwright test --grep -invert equals to @tag name. And now once we hit enter, all the tests will get executed apart from this test which is having the UAT tag. And now let's hit enter. See, 5 tests are getting executed out of these 6 tests. So 3 from this file and 2 from this file are getting executed. And execution of this test which is having the UAT tag did not happen because of this particular command. Now coming on to the next command, which is to debug playwright test. And for that, we have the command which is npx playwright test --debug, which will open your test execution into the debug mode. So let's provide this particular command. Let me open one new terminal. Let's close this old one. And here the command is npx playwright test -debug. Hit enter and you will see this playwright inspector window got opened and execution got paused onto this line. From here you can resume or step over to the next step. And there are so many other options which we have already discussed into this particular video. I will provide link of this video into the description if you have not watched it. So you can use any of the options which is useful for your debugging purpose. From here you can record and locate the elements also. Let me terminate this particular process because it will execute all the tests one by one. So pressing Ctrl C to terminate this debugging process. So like this, you can start playwright execution into the debug mode with the help of playwright inspector. Now coming on to the next command, which is to open playwright Codegen. So Codegen is the playwright tool which is used to generate the playwright code. About the Codegen tool also I have talked into this particular video. If you have not watched that video, I will provide link of this video into the description. So let's provide this command into the terminal. So npx playwright Codegen and hit enter. And once you do so, it will open the playwright inspector and here it would be recording all the actions which we do onto the playwright browser. So let me open google.com here. And here you can perform any actions and all the actions which you provide will get logged into this playwright inspector. And now you can copy paste this particular code into your test script files wherever it is required. And it will record each and every action which you perform onto the browser once you start the Codegen tool. For now, let me close this particular window which will stop the recording. And now let's go to the next command, which is to record Playwright trace. So once you do the execution, the trace will also get generated for your execution. And now let's provide this command, which is npx playwright test -- trace equals to its value. So here I have written on, but apart from on also there are some different values which you can provide as per your requirement. Let me open VS Code, and here if you remember, into the playwright.config.ts file also we can configure the trace, that when we want to generate the trace. Let me open this configuration file, and here inside the define config object we have this use key and its value is object, where we have this trace as the key and its value can be set to on, off, on all retries, on first retry, and so on, right? So for now it is configured here into our playwright.config.ts file. For now let me comment it out so that we would be sure that our trace is getting generated because of CLI command. And now let's give the CLI command which will generate the trace. So the command is npx playwright test and then -- trace equals to the value which we just discussed. So here for now I am keeping it as on only, which will generate the trace in each and every case, but accordingly as per your requirement you can change the value. And here I will also enable the HTML report so that we would be able to see our trace inside the HTML report. So it would be easy to connect, right, which trace is for which test. And to enable the HTML report, you can simply provide this reporter :HTML here inside the playwright.config.ts file. But as we are discussing about the CLI commands, so I will provide this reporter option there with our command. So after this -- trace equals to 1, I am providing one more option, which is -- reporter equals to HTML, because we want to generate the HTML reporter. And now hit enter, which will start the execution and it will generate the trace. Also, it will generate the HTML report. So here we have combined two options, as previously also we did when we executed the command to start the execution into the headed mode onto the specific browser. So like this you can combine the options also. And now our execution is done and our report got generated. Let me open this particular report. So npx playwright show -report, and it will generate the report and will open it inside the browser. And here if you will see that trace got generated for each and every test, because we have kept it as the on. See, if you will click onto these icons, it will open the specific trace for the specified test into the browser only, where you can use these features to analyze your execution. And like this you can open the trace for any of the test. See, if you will go inside there also, you would be able to see this trace, and you can click onto this link to download the specified trace also. Let me close this report. And now we can move to the next command, which is to run the field test only. And for that we have the command which is npx playwright test -- last -field. So now let me first do the execution for all the tests, and purposefully I will fail one of these tests. So let's fail this second practice test. Here I will provide this title wrong, and purposefully this practice test 2 will get failed. And here let's start the execution by providing the command npx playwright test. And here we would be able to see one failure. See, our 6 tests are getting executed and our practice test 2 got failed because purposefully we have mentioned wrong title to verify here. And whenever any of the tests fail while execution, its ID gets logged in .last-run.json file. So let me open this particular file, and this file would be available inside this test-results folder, where this .last-run.json file would be there. Let me open this file and see there is this ID which got logged for our failed test. So this is just for your information that details are getting logged if there is any failure. And now as we want to execute only the failed test from our previous execution, and for that let's give the command which is npx playwright test -- last-failed. And now let's hit enter, and only our one test which got failed should get executed. See, only one test got executed again, although it will fail because still we are trying to verify the wrong title. But like this, if you have multiple tests which are getting failed, you can execute them with the help of this simple command into the next run, which is npx playwright test -last failed. And now let's talk about the next command, which is to execute the test which got changed after our last commit. And for that, our Playwright project must have connected to the GitHub repository. So for now, my project is already connected to the GitHub repository. And about the topic which is related to the GitHub repository, we have already talked into these two videos. I will provide link of these two videos if you want to check and watch these videos. For now, let me commit all these files and then I will make change into one of the file, and then we will use this particular command which will execute only the file which we just changed. So now first committing these two files. So giving this commit message, click onto the commit, here selecting yes to stage all the changes, and now commit is done. And let me make changes here into any of the file. For now, I will make change into this file where I was giving the wrong title. Now let me correct it. So now we have changed into this particular TypeScript file. See, the same is appearing into the VS Code under the source control also. You can check the same with the help of git status also, which will show that which file got modified. So only one file got modified here. But for you, let's say there are total 10 TypeScript files which are there, and out of that you have modified 3 TypeScript files, and that only you want to check that execution is working fine for those files or not. So you can use this command, which is npx playwright test -only changed. So providing this command here, npx playwright test -only changed. And now hit enter, and what should happen? It should execute only these 3 tests for the file which we have modified after the last commit. See, only 3 tests got executed from this Playwright CLI practice 1.spec.ts file. So accordingly, if it fits for your requirement, you can use this particular command where you just want to check or execute the TypeScript files which got committed after the last commit. And now let's move further. So the next command is just to check the Playwright version, that which version we are using. And for that, you can either provide this npx playwright -version, or in short, you can use npx playwright -v. So let me use both of the commands just to show it to you. So npx playwright -version, hit enter, which will show you the Playwright version which we are using. It can be different as per your version which you are using. Let me close and open new terminal. And now let's provide this short command to check the version. So the command is npx playwright -V, and hit enter, and it will show you the same version. And remember, this is capital V and not the small, otherwise you will get error. And now let's go to the next command, which is to open command line interface help. And the command is npx playwright -help. This test is not required. Typo error it is. Let me remove it. And we can also use the short form, which is npx playwright -h. Let me use both the commands here. So first npx playwright -help, hit enter, and it will show you the CLI help where you would be able to see different CLI commands. Some of them we have already discussed just now, but there are many more commands which you can use, and their description would also be appearing here. See, like here we have this show-report command which will show the HTML report. We have command to capture the screenshot where we can provide npx playwright test -screenshot equals to different options like on, off, or any other option which you can select, and the same can be configured into playwright.config.ts file. See, here is screenshot, and for now we have kept it as only on failure, but while execution, if you feel that you want to enable the screenshot in any case, so in the command at that time you can provide npx playwright test -screenshot equals to on. So just wanted to show you that like this you can try multiple commands as per your requirement. And as the assignment also, you can try these different commands, and if you find any of the command which can be useful So you can share that command into the comment section below, which will help others also. And let me generate this help with the help of that short command, which is npx playwright -h. Hit enter and it will generate the same help again with the help of short command. And here all these commands can be one of the interview question for you that interview can ask. Let's say he can ask that what is the command to install the playwright, or what is the command to start the execution into the headed mode. So each and every point which we just discussed can be an interview question, and accordingly what we just learned you can answer the same. Let's say they can ask that how to run the specific test with the particular tag. So for that you can answer that we can use this -grep by giving the command which is npx playwright test -grep equals to @tag name. And I would be providing this document link so that you can keep these commands handy with you for your daily use also. I will also provide link of the videos for the topics which we have discussed in detail previously with this heading, so that it would be easy for you to watch those videos if you want to get in-depth knowledge about those topics, or if you want to refresh those concepts. And that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw that Playwright CLI is a powerful command line tool provided by Playwright framework to facilitate various tasks related to test automation. And we can use these commands to perform different tasks, like to install the Playwright, to install the Playwright browsers, to update the Playwright, to run all the tests, or to run the specific tests like this. We can also do the execution onto the specific browser, onto the headed mode. We can enable the specified reporter. We can open the HTML reporter. We can execute the tests with the specified tag, or vice versa also we can do by using this -grep -invert option. We can debug our Playwright tests. We can use the Codegen to generate the new code. We can use this command to generate the Playwright trace. With the help of CLI, we can execute the tests which got failed into the previous iteration. If there are any tests which got changed after the last commit, we can use this -only -changed CLI command to execute only the changed files. And from here we can check the version and also check the Playwright help. And there are many more commands which you can explore. But these were some of the useful commands which you would be using into your day-to-day work with the Playwright. And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.